It's all about anything. This is Cebcast. Hi, I'm Nigel. Welcome to Cebcast. Today is April 18, 2022, and it was taped on this day. Welcome to episode 1. Before we start talking about stuff here in this podcast, I want to say welcome. My name is Nigel, and again, welcome to Cebcast. So if you're wondering why the name of this podcast is called Cebcast, Cebcast is a portmanteau of two words, Cebu and podcast. Well, you know what a podcast is, and Cebu is a place in the Philippines, and it has a meaning to me because I was born and raised there. And yes, I am a Filipino, and I'm currently residing in Canada. Pinoy representation, baby! There are a lot of Filipinos here. Back to Cebcast, the target audience for this podcast is everyone. Anyone can listen to this podcast. It's just some fun talk here. I can talk about the current events happening now in the world, like the war in Ukraine, and Will Smith smacking Chris Rock, or back home in the Philippines, like the upcoming election in a few months. And it means that they're just got a few months left. Aside from current events, I can talk about pop culture and my own childhood in the Philippines, or my life in Canada, if I want to. In every episode, I can talk at least 2 or 3 topics, and the topics are separated into 2 or 3 segments, where the first segment is called the Appies, as in appetizers. You know how appetizers work, right? The others I call points. In a 2-topic episode, the other point aside from Appies is basically called the point. But in a 3-topic episode, the other 2 topics are called point 1 and point 2. The Appies are considered point 2. I picked the name Appies because they are the starting point. Just like they are starters when you eat in a restaurant. Oh, and this segment may be technically another point, but it's not, because it's quick talk. That's what it's called. It's basically every point but short. Just opinions given quickly, unlike the other points. Alright, now let's head on to the points, and there's a lot of current events to talk about. And this episode will be a 2-point episode. Don't worry, the next episode will be 3. Oh, and there will be more content other than podcasts here on this channel, so stay tuned. Now let's head on to the topics. The only quick talk I'm going to talk about is that this podcast is scripted for now, as I am prone to stuttering, but don't worry, as this thing goes on, there will be a lot of improvisation. Now let's head on to the Appies. So about the election back home in the Philippines, for the Filipino viewers, or in this case, listeners, the people who I am going to support, but not vote because I can't, for a reason, is Leni Robredo for president and Kiko Pangilinan for vice president. There are plenty of reasons why I'm voting for them. Leni for her contribution to fight poverty and COVID. She's going to fight workplace discrimination and will support small businesses and the unemployed. Kiko because he has platforms for food security and the agricultural sector. He's going to make healthy food affordable, and he supports the farmers and the fishermen, I guess. Aside from that, both of them don't have even a single speck of corruption in them. Politics aside, Leni lives a simple life and she's down to earth. And so does Kiko, I guess. I mean, yeah, I think so. And he owns a farm together with his wife, Sharon Cuneta, who has been an actress for many years. And was supposed to be in Jokoy's Easter Sunday movie. Now, I know this one's not important, but as YouTubers, when you reach 100,000 subs, by the way, sub to both of them, when you reach 100,000 subs, you receive a creator award. In other words, a play button for that. And they should be receiving that award, because they both reach 100,000 subs, and as of now, they have more than that. Also, I haven't seen them having it. But again, it's not important because it's campaign season. Still campaign season. They have until May 8th for that. And don't worry, I'll make a play button for them out of those stuff I'm going to talk about next. That's it for the Appies. Let's head on to the point. But before we get to the point, I have another segment to talk about for this podcast. It's called Question of the Day. The segment is simple. I ask a question, you answer it in the comments, and I'll read it next episode. And also, another segment, Comment of the Day. It's also simple. I pick one comment from the past episode and read it in today's episode. In other words, whatever you comment on for this episode, I will talk about it in the next episode. Actually, I will pick three. One that is good, one that is random, and one that is mean. That's right, reading mean comments every episode. And there will be no comment of the day because this is episode 1. So the question of the day today is: are you a corn dog person or a chicken tenders person? Comment down below. Alright, now let's head on to the point. So the point here is, let's talk about Perler, which, to put it simply, is a bunch of beads that, guided with a pegboard, you can melt together with an iron to make a masterpiece. It's fun, time-taking, but worth it, and should power up your creativity. I've known about this a few years ago when Pokemon YouTuber Brandon to the Past posted a video of him making a Pokeball out of Perlers. I was still in Cebu when I knew about that, and yes, there are Perlers in the Philippines. Toy Kingdom has them. If you want to spend like, I don't know, 500 pesos on that thing, yeah, sure, go on. Back to the origins. I've seen YouTubers include Perlers in their crafts. Like that girl who made a purple infinity cube and a Pokédex phone case that I didn't know was from Cutie Crafts, which I watch from her as of now. I've never had Perlers until my birthday last year. Me and my mom got those $5 grab bags from our local Michaels, which to me, I believe it's full of stuff that are unsold. And inside those bags, one of them are those individual kits that makes you one Perler art, or Sprite, I guess. That's what they call it, I guess? I don't know. But they are not Perler brand. The brand is Creatology. There were 4 bags of them. 2 of them I got to make a turkey, the other 2 pumpkins. I enjoy them, and that's where I got my love for Perlers. From then on, I started having a lot of beads from different brands, like the beads from Dollarama, Horizon Group USA, which I got from Walmart, Pistol beads from IKEA, and later on, I had my hands on to 2 Perler kits, which I both finished. It was awesome, and you'll be seeing me do Perler art in upcoming videos. Please check it out. You'll love it. Now, I have pros and cons about it. Let's start with the pros. One, if you have the buckets or 6,000 bead packs, you will have a lot of creativity. And in my case, despite the fact I have different brands and those beads may not have the same size, they are all compatible with each other. And it's better than getting the individual bags because because they're too expensive, and you might like sorting them all by yourself. I loved it. I made Pokemon sprites by watching Cutie Crafts, and they all look awesome. But the cons here are the current costs. The Perler buckets are too costly for me here. A bucket of 11,000 beads costs around 27 Canadian bucks here. I've checked the Perler website and the Perler website by Internet Archive. It's kind of surprising for me to see the cost of the 11,000 bead bucket go up. My other con is that when I go to my local Walmart, there's not much selection, and my local Michaels, well, there's not much selection in the buckets and kits. There's not much selection when it comes to individual packs. The other cons I have is that when I have a Perler kit, there were instances that they were lacking beads in terms of amount and color, but that's okay, because I improvised and made it better. And my last con is that there are a lot of discontinued Perler items that are too good to be discontinued. I'd like to try one of those stuff. There are plenty of mixes and individual. I'm sorry. Here's my stuttering. And individual kits that I like, but they're not available. Plus, there's this thing called bead stems and a stem clipper where you cut off those stems to custom lengths, and that's just cool. And there's the beads and rods mix, the tweezers that includes a stylus, and also mini bead activity kits, which, nah. I've learned enough about buying Perlers, considering that the brands I have are compatible with each other anyway. When I want a bucket or a hodgepodge of beads, I go to the dollar store. But if I want individual, I'm sorry. As I was saying, but if I wanted individual packs, I go to Michael's, but with one thing: a coupon. I'm not used to coupons, but I'm looking forward to using them soon, and it means I have to plan ahead of time, like printing out the coupons, knowing the expiration date, and knowing the store I'm going to go to. And if you want organizers, dollar stores are your best bet. They're cheap and useful. Despite the cons, I like my Perler interest. I made several pieces of original art, and some I saw on the internet. So far, the biggest I've made is the geometric planter from Cutie Crafts, which I turned it more of a container or a decorative thing. because I don't have plants here. Yeah. It's fun. Please do try it. Any brand is fine if you don't like the cost of the original Perlers, or mix it up. And thank you for listening to the first episode of Cebcast. And please stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you. Have fun. Cebcast. It's all about anything. A presentation of the Periwinkle.